Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Young Entrepreneurs of the World Conference. We are excited to have Sam White with us today. Sam is director and co-founder of Greentown Labs, an incubator dedicated to clean tech startups, and he's also co-founder of Promethean Power Systems, a thermal battery technology startup that enables cold storage of perishable foods, and amongst other things, where there is unreliable power, such as villages in India. Such amazing things that Sam is going to share with us today. This presentation is on creating a technology without a blueprint. So Sam, I can't wait to hear what you have in store for us. It's all yours.
Thanks, Tina. Yeah, I mean, just this title is kind of obvious because if we're innovating something new, you can't follow a blueprint. So I wanted to share basically a story that runs through some of the startups that I've created and share with you some of the major failures that we've had, and with the message that you can't really do something innovative without failures. So let me, and with stealth mode, I'll come out of the closet today and share with you at the end what I'm focused on with the stealth mode. So let me start with Promethean Power. In India, cold storing and transporting perishable foods there from farm to market is really, it's a big problem. It's a problem because of the severe lack of power available on these farming communities. You only get 7 hours of power in a 24-hour period. So Promethean Power developed a thermal battery to help resolve this problem. And it sounds easy, but let me take you through it. This is kind of what the power grid looks like in India, and that's why you only get 7 hours of power, and everyone has to boil their milk when they get the milk because of the contamination through lack of cold storing throughout the supply chain. And that really reduces the nutrition that kids rely on in India. Let me give you a statistic to give you an idea of how large this problem is. In the United States, 80% of food that's grown on farms gets processed. In India, just 6% make it to the cities in a quality enough state to get processed. Every year in India, $10 billion of food gets spoiled. And so let me take you way back to 2007. Here, I'm with a group of PhD students at MIT where they've developed an organic Rankine cycle engine made out of car parts. And we were going to enable farmers to use this technology. And we worked on this in Lesotho in Africa. We decided to submit a business plan out of this while we're in Lesotho at the MIT 100K business plan competition, and we got third place. We were so excited. We're like, this is a stamp of approval. No chance of not being successful now. But luckily we didn't know any better. So we took the $10,000 of winnings. And we went straight to India, and we went to visit the Great Farmers Society. We went to people who are trying to dry rice. We went to nonprofit who are putting solar on roofs. We went all over India. And when we went to Bangalore, someone suggested, you should reach out to Bangalore Dairy. And we're like, why not? And so I called the switchboard. And they put me right through to the managing director of Bangalore Dairy, Mr. Sundaram. He was about 2 years out from retiring, and he said he wanted to see us right away after I explained this magical solar contraption that we had developed. And we discovered a big problem in the dairy sector. They said, there are about 300,000 milk producing villages in India, but they can't chill it all, because if you put in a traditional milk chiller in all these villages with this type of electricity, well, what do you need? You need a polluting, expensive diesel generator. And so let me introduce you to one of these farmers. Her name is Niranjana, and she owns 5 cows, about 5 hours south of Bangalore. And in that same village, there are about 30 other families who own 2 to 5 cows. And I'm going to show you a 30-second video clip of what this process is like. And so hopefully they're milking the cows. All these 30 farmers take the milk into the center of the village. When I'm in India, this is my office. I'm helping milk get to the village center where they test it, and then the race is on. They race 20 kilometers to the closest chilling center. They do the smell test. Imagine, your carton of milk says, smell test approved. So this is the process that they go through twice a day. And so now that we came up with this problem, we kind of focus on this whole process that takes 4 hours from milking the cows to getting to that chilling center. And so industry standard says that if you don't chill that milk within 4 hours, the bacteria level rises to dangerous level. And they're averaging 6 hours. So now we had an objective. We wanted to enable these villages to chill the milk at the cow, at the village center, where they didn't have to race it, and they can chill the milk within 1 hour. And so now that we had that problem, we got rid of that organic Rakin cycle engine made out of car parts, and we went on our journey. Sit down for this, because it's pretty funny, some of the looking back, some of the technologies that we went through to try to resolve this problem. So first we started with Thermoelectrics. This is a solar panel with a thermoelectric chip. And so a Thermoelectrics, you put electricity in, one side gets hot, the other side gets cold. And we tried to chill milk, but we just couldn't get this cold enough to chill that milk down to 4 degrees C. And then we said, screw it, let's just deliver ice to these villages, use a solar power to run a pump to take that ice water through the top of this, what looks like a upside down martini shaker. And of course, for this young crowd, this is an apt analogy, the martini shaker. And so what we're doing is we're trying to pour milk down that martini shaker and chill the milk instantly as it flows over. And the logistics of delivering ice was just too much. So a year of trying to do that, but we learned a little on that journey. So then we got our big break. The president of India's largest private dairy, called Hudson, gave us our first purchase order to deliver a complete, first of its kind, solar power refrigeration system for their milk villages. And so the concept that we went out to do is we use solar power to run a chiller unit, and we would chill this huge 2,000-liter tank of glycol and pump it into that same martini shaker to chill that milk. And after a year of testing it at this warehouse, and so I'm going to digress for 2 slides. We needed a warehouse to build this contraption, this first prototype, and so we started this small incubator called Greentown Labs with 4 other companies. We were basically landlords on this dilapidated warehouse. And little did we know, it became the largest clean tech incubator in the United States. But that's a digression. Let's get back to milk. So this contraption is a 2,000 liter chiller, chilling 500 liters of milk. This is us putting it together the day before the managing director comes to look at it. And to try to give you a better idea of the scene, right in front are kind of 5 steps going up to see this managing director, looking over our contraption. And this company built this room for us right on their campus. And the managing director took one look at this 2,000 liter cooling tank and said, "What are you thinking? Just that 2,000 liter cooling tank is twice the size of any of our village sheds. I mean, why didn't you call me before building this?" And this guy is so busy, we didn't feel like we could call him with our designs. And so that night was brutal. We were 2 o'clock in the morning. We're sitting in this city with open sewage, smelly, smoking cigarettes, thinking, what are we going to do now? And while we're smoking cigarettes, our Rajat Gupta, our country head, said, "Guys," and by the way, I don't even smoke, so that's how bad things were. "Guys, why don't we think about getting rid of solar and just relying on the 7 hours of power and kind of focus on reducing the size of this cooling tank?" And so it was a big internal fight. We didn't want to do that. We wanted it to be a solar company, not a milk chilling company. But at the end of the day, we didn't have a choice. So a year later, after a lot of R&D back in Boston at that warehouse that I showed you, we were able to take that 2,000 liter cooling tank, chilling 500 liters of milk, down to a 500 liter cooling tank, chilling 1,000 liters of milk. And this is the system that we went to market with. As you can see, that martini shaker, we took some of our learnings from the failures, and this is instantly chilling that milk from 35 degrees C to 4 degrees C. And today I'm very happy to announce that there are over 80,000 farmers in India accessing our technology, chilling their milk without diesel generators and getting to the market and tripling their income. So if you think about this story, it could have turned out very differently. My business partner and I set out to be a solar company, and that didn't work out. And on the way to that sort of painful realization that we weren't going to be who we thought we would be, we ended up following a trail of discoveries that led us to resolving a big problem, a problem we didn't even know existed before. And so if there's one thing that you take away from this talk, and I can tell you for certain, is that if we hadn't spent the grueling hours struggling with our experiments on the ground in the real world, we would never have been able to get this technology out of the lab and into the hands of these farmers in these villages. And it was a win-win-win. It's a win for the environment because they're no longer polluting their pristine lands. It's a win for the dairy processors because they're collecting more quality milk, where they're making 3 times the amount of money by producing value-added products like yogurt and ghee. It's a win for the consumers because they're drinking healthier milk. And it's a win for these farmers. Like I said before, they triple the amount of their income when we place a chiller. And so let me take you through the next problem that I discovered. My wife came to visit me in India, and she was dying of heat. I just want to check the time. Yeah, I have 10 more minutes. And so she was dying of heat. And, you know, the expression necessity is a mother of innovation is true for me personally, because, you know, she wasn't able to go outside of this air-conditioned apartment that we had. And so what I did in desperation is I took some of these cooling balls that we were using inside our cooling tank. I asked a tailor in the street to wrap them in cotton. And this is what my wife came away with. There are these cooling balls inside this scarf. And when I came back, I decided to share the love and create a company called Nano Ice. Stelios, if you could take over and play this video of what this cooling necklace has come to be today, that would be awesome. And so it's just going to be a little video that Stelios will show you that kind of encapsulates what we're doing with the Nano Ice cooling necklace.
But if I can keep my body cool, then this helps me, you know, go through the day, especially during the summer better.
Hey, I'll get one and just put it under my shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'll do. Yeah, this thing's fucking unbelievable, man.
I think it's the best thing I've ever had around my neck. Tell me, I'm telling you, instant relief. It was so wonderful.
It's the best thing I've ever seen. I only met Sam today, and he's told me on it, and I'm telling everybody about it.
Injection. And the Nano Ice Cool Color is really helping alleviate pain. So
I actually slept with this around my neck last night, and I went to sleep straight away. It was just amazing.
So that's Nano Ice cooling necklace. And going back to creating Greentown Labs, as I told you before, we needed a space, and this was the very first space that we created in 2010. And we just wanted to reduce the costs. And when I moved to India, I found Emily Riker to take over, because we were all doing our own startups as we grew this to 17 companies. And today is the largest incubator in the United States. 140,000 square feet of lab, office, wet lab space, Boston, in Houston. We've enabled hundreds of startups to raise over $1 billion in funding, completely turned the statistics of startup survival on its head to 88%. And so that gives you an idea of what we're doing. The startups are made up of electricity, ag tech, transportation, manufacturing, building, resistance. And so now I have 5 more minutes to tell you what the stealth mode is that I'm focused on. So the kind of the business model of Greentown Labs is to touch as many startups as they can that's having a large climate tech impact. And I recently discovered, the methane issues in the oil and gas sector. Not that we didn't know about it, but I have kind of dug into the details and realized how bad we have it when we do fracking and oil. It's not just the oil that we should be worried about. It's the flaring and venting of methane that is 80% more potent when it comes to warming the planet. And so I've discovered several technologies to alleviate and dramatically reduce both the emissions from methane, as well as the water pollutants that are permeating throughout the oil and gas sector. And it's not like I'm opening up the Pandora's box. The oil and gas industry is actively trying to resolve this issue as well, because it's good for business, not to mention that they're going to be forced to report on emissions through the SEC. But this flaring is horrible. But what's worse than flaring, which is 5% methane going into the environment, is venting. That's 100% of methane going to the environment. And so what I am looking to do is take the electricity off of the flare using a gas engine and delivering power through a mobile battery to sites that are venting. These are smaller sites that without powering a pump for a gas assist, it's collecting gas and then automatically venting that methane into the air. This is a drone technology where it can drive a drone on a truck. It releases it on the go. And so it's going from one fracking site to another and detecting methane. So it eliminates the need for sending a drone to one place, having it come back, replacing the battery. It's charging automatically on the go on this truck. And then the other sector that I am looking to help alleviate is the billions of gallons of polluted water after they use the water for fracking. What I want to do is create a bioreactor that is being powered by those very flares that I talked about before, and reuse that water for agriculture. So I am 1 minute off, so I think I will end it there. And I'll leave my email up in case you want to reach out, sam@promethean-power.com. And that's the journey. And I hope you kind of take away how important it is to, have those mistakes and be able to turn it in lemon into lemonade.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam. The innovations that you are bringing to the world to get after real problems is inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing that with us and for sharing how people can connect with you, because I think this has probably touched a lot of hearts and folks who may want to join that cause with you. So appreciate your time here.
Yeah, thank you, Tina, and thank you everyone for listening.
Have a great day, everyone.